Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Visible Lady of Faith, and this
This
is.
her sidekick.
And today we're going to talk about Jeremiah's
Rescue.
rescue
Yes.
for the Sunday, November the, what is it, the 2nd, 2025.
That's right.
Taken from Jeremiah, the 38th chapter, verses 7 through 13.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because this Jeremiah, just thinking about the relationship and everything, because, we were talking about that word. You said he went and criticized.
Mm-hmm.
And, people have their way of expressing how they see these scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
But, because one of the things that stuck out with me was Jeremiah, and we're gonna find out in this lesson that he was lowered into a cistern.
Cistern or dungeon.
Well,
That's what the King James Version calls it. Dungeon.
Yeah, but it's yeah. Go ahead.
We know it's a hole in the ground. Okay.
Yeah. One other point I want to make. We as Christians today, one thing that just resonated with me, that once you become a child of God, you think everything is going to be rosy, but Jeremiah is a prophet, and this is what a trying time. He was down in the dungeon / cistern or underground.
Anyway, I just wanted to share with y'all. This is like, I know the lessons from Jeremiah 38 verses 7 through 13, but if we restart at the beginning of that chapter, we can see that the Lord has given Jeremiah a message about whoever stays in this city will die by the sword, and it will be a famine or a plague. But whoever goes over to the Babylonians, they will live. Verse 3 says that, and I'm quoting, and this is what the Lord says: this city will certainly be given into the hands of the army of the king of Babylon, who will capture it. So this is just a little historical perspective of chapters that are before chapter 7 in Jeremiah 38.
Before chapter 7 or 38?
I mean before verse 7.
Okay.
Before verse 7 in chapter 38.
Okay, good.
In Jeremiah.
Yeah, you should go back all the way to chapter 34, because there's a lot of things that's going on at this time. Because in 34 it talks about slavery.
Right.
And I want to slow down. The slavery was a slavery is not like the U.S. slavery, because it was Hebrews enslaving Hebrews, and the purpose of that slavery was the countrymen or the Hebrews, they were working off debt, and they're supposed to, after 7 years, they're supposed to be free from that debt. But there was at a period of time when it was asked of them to release all of them, and everybody, which said everybody should be released. But for whatever reason, I guess I'm going to make this assumption. No, it's not an assumption, but read it. At the time, the siege under the Babylonians were starving them out, and the city was going downhill. And as my wife just said, if you stay in the city, disaster is going to happen. But if you go with the Babylonians,
you will live.
You will live.
You will live.
Okay, and all these different things going on. So you have to kind of go back to chapter 34 to get some of the things we're talking about as far as the slavery.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting if you stop and think about it. The Babylonians were not Jewish. They were their enemies, okay, and they were in captivity. So keep this in mind. In the U.S., black folks were being enslaved. They were not white. Now, if you want to see or get a better picture of it, then if the same thing was happening, the white people that was here enslaving black folks, they would have been enslaving their own kind. That's if you'll find that in chapter 34. That would be the analogy of it.
So who were the Cushites? The
Cushites were, like Ethiopians. They
Ethiopians,
were dark, because you got to remember.
I don't think in this chapter it said it, but I found in the I can't think in the New King James Version it said Ethiopian, but not in the NIV version.
It says Cushites.
Huh?
Cushites.
Yeah, NIV says Cushites, but in the New King James Version it says Ethiopians. Yes. Okay, so what Jeremiah was telling the people, it was perceived as, I guess, as you can call it, a threat, and the people didn't want to hear what he had to say. This is why Ebed Melech, he was an official in the royal palace, spoke up about Jeremiah being thrown in the cistern, because they threw him in the cistern because they didn't uh, like what he was saying.
Yeah, cistern slash dungeon. Yeah.
Yeah. So he called out what they were doing as evil, because they really didn't have an excuse for throwing him in the dungeon in the first place. Just because they didn't like what he was saying, there's no real excuse for putting him there.
You see, you just brought up another point too,
Yeah.
because with Jeremiah was hesitant to tell King Zedekiah because it wasn't Jeremiah knew I don't know if I want to tell him, so that's why he turned around and he said, "If you promise me what I'm getting ready to tell you, that you won't kill me," and the King Zedekiah said, and I'm cutting out some of the conversation. Zedekiah said, "I will not kill you, or I will not turn you over to anybody that was going to kill you."
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same kind of concept. Zedekiah, he actually turned it over to some of the other Jews, and they decided they didn't like what they were hearing, so they put him down in the dungeon or slash cistern.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So basically, as we said, Jeremiah was calling them out for what they had done to, well, Ebed-Melech had called them out, the people out, for what they had done to Jeremiah. I had to think about what I was saying to Jeremiah. Okay.
Yeah, because you use the other word, criticism and everything, but it makes more sense to me if I just say Jeremiah was just delivering a message that God told him, to go and explain to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they just didn't like what he was saying.
Yeah, that's what basically I was saying, that they didn't like what he was saying.
But it wasn't, he wasn't criticizing him, because then
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not really a criticism. They just didn't like what he was saying.
Yeah, he didn't like what he was saying.
Just like today, people
are not like, they
don't like what other people say, and they criticize them or whatever the word you want to call to describe what the person is saying, that they don't like what they're saying. But so back to Jeremiah being thrown in the cistern or dungeon. King Zedekiah had commanded Ebed-Melech and some men to remove him from the cistern or dungeon.
Yeah, the reason why
dungeon.
Quickly, why she's saying cistern, because it's muddy, because the city's under attack and the water is gone. Because if it was really water, he would be down in the water, but it's in the mud. Yeah. Go ahead.
So down there, he would, since there was no water down there, no food, he would starve to death, and
it was muddy,
and starve to death, and what's the word? Oh, and thirst to death. Yeah. So this lesson, I was thinking about today's atmosphere. When I was reading, I started thinking about today's atmosphere, how when people say something that we don't want to hear, like I said, mentioned earlier, they put some type of negative label on it. Okay?
Well, when you say also another thing too, when they don't want to hear it or it's not beneficial to them, then they want to spin it to make it look beneficial. Because case in point today, why is it that a person, when they sit there and they call the police on you, and then they start embellishing, oh yeah, he's threatening my life, oh he has this, oh, and just all these things they embellish with, which is not happening,
and it's not even a crime. That's the thing that I don't understand. But they said, oh, we have to respond to every call, and just some of them, you know how some of them turn out, and you have to be committing a crime to,
no,
for something awful to happen to you.
That's true. But what I'm saying is, look at the nuance, what's happening. They're upset with the individual, but they're going to turn around and paint the picture that, like for instance now, he has a gun and he doesn't have a gun. Why? But they'll use the word, I think he has a gun.
Or he's threatening my life.
Yeah.
which can be a lie.
No. What I'm saying is, the thing is, the people that do that is, and take it out of the context of a racial issue, because when somebody reports something, why do they have to embellish it? Because they know what buttons to push to get the police there.
Right.
Use words
Mhm.
that which is not true.
That's why words have power, whether they lying words or truthful words or honest words. You know, you can
Or deceptive
dress
words.
them up, or deceptive words. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
dress
'cause-
them up to make the situation sound worse than what it really
No,
is.
they're
Or that the situation don't even exist at all, but you think there's a thing here, like a situation here, whereas no situation.
to their benefit.
Okay.
That's what they're trying to do. And this is what King Zedekiah, he's
Mhm.
guilty of that, because he told, I'm not going to kill anybody, but it's okay if somebody over there.
No, Zedekiah didn't. He was okay because he was the one that commanded Ebed Melech and some men to come remove
Yes.
Jeremiah from the cistern, and he even told them to get some rags and some ropes. So when you pull them up, you don't like tear his skin. You know, that would help protect his skin. Pull him up out of there.
Yeah, and because they made the assumption that, like I said, it was muddy. When you get down in the mud, you got that mud clinging. So now you're no longer 100 pounds. You may be 300 pounds, and you need more people to pull him up out of that mud. It's like a suction.
Right.
It's not easy to pull that person out of there. Understand that he was tossed in unjustly because they didn't want to hear the message that God was delivering to them, because if you go back up, like I said, going up to 34, they wanted to keep their fellow countrymen in slavery because of the economic situation at that time, and the Babylonians were strategically, attacking that city, and they didn't have to go and attack them; they just starve them out, and all these things that are going on. So you have to read it to get the full gist of it, but we just highlighted things that, like I said, we as Christians, we think every time we turn our life over to God, everything is going to run perfect. So and it does run perfect, but except for there's some bumps in the road, just like Jeremiah.
Definitely bumps in the road. Always bumps in the road. So anyway, I hope we said something that will provoke thought. And thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.